Hi, Assalamualaikum. Today we are going to explain how we apply Mayer's 12 principle into our presentation slide. So the topic for this slide is our solar system for year 6. First, we need to click here to start. Okay, as we can see, I have the audio button here. So we play the button first. Solar system is a collection of celestial bodies that orbit around the star called the Sun. It includes the Sun, inner planet, outer planet, and beyond planet. Click on the pictures given for more information. Thank you. So as we can see in this slide, I applied the segmenting principle, which I break the content into manageable segment or chunk that learners can process at their own pace instead of presenting it as a continuous stream. I also apply modality principle, which I use spoken word instead of written text when I present visual, as auditory processing complements visual processing more effectively. I also apply personalization principle, which I use conversational tone and a first-person narrative in the presentation to make the material more engaging and relatable. Next, I also use a voice principle, which I use a human voice for narration rather than a synthetic or robotic voice to foster a better connection with learners, and I apply image principle, which I avoid adding a speaker's image to the screen unless it enhances understanding, as it may otherwise distract learners. So let's jump to the next slide by clicking one of the pictures below. So I click the sun picture here and it will direct us to the next slide, which is the sun. So in this slide, I applied spatial contiguity principle, which I place the related text and visual near each other on the screen to help learners make connection between them. And I also applied signaling principle, which I highlight the key information here, the word massive ball of hot gases, which because this is the key information for the sun. In this slide, I also apply pre-training principle, which I provide learners with essential background knowledge or definition of key concept before introducing more complex content. In this slide, I also apply multimedia principle, which I use both words and pictures together, as they can improve understanding more than words or pictures alone. So now let's click here to go back to the main page.
Let's dive into the inner planets of our solar system, which are Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. These planets are small and rocky with smooth surface. They are located close to the Sun and have high density. Notice how the labels are placed close to each planet. This design applies the spatial contiguity principle, which ensure that related text and image are positioned together and making it easier to understand their connection. Additionally, this slide follows the coherence principle by keeping the design simple and avoiding unnecessary distraction, allowing you to focus on the main learning points. The use of image alongside text demonstrates the multimedia principle, which help you grasp the concept better by combining visual and words. Now, let's explore the outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. These planets are located beyond the asteroid belt and they all have rings as well as multiple moons. The slide highlights this trait using concise text, avoiding redundancy as per the coherence principle. Notice the arrangement of the planets and their labels. This follows the spatial contiguity principle, helping you easily associate the names with their visual. The information is also chunked into smaller, Digestible parts, an example of the cementing principle, which allow learners to process content at their own pace. Finally, by combining graphic with narration, this slide leverage the modality principle, reducing cognitive load and making the content easier to absorb. Thank you.
Okay, next we click the last button where it leads to a page that titled Beyond the Planets. Firstly, it shows the information about the beyond the planets, which is asteroids, comets, and the dwarf planets. What is asteroids? What are they? It's a small rocky object mostly found in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Comets, what are they? It's icy objects from the outer solar system. When they approach the sun, they form glowing tails. And lastly, the dwarf planets, what are they? It is around objects that orbit the sun but haven't cleared their path of other debris. So in this part, I apply the spatial contiguity principle by placing related text and image close together to help learners make connection between them. As you can see that I placed the image close together with the text here. The second principle that I applied from the summary of 12 Mayer's principle is the multimedia principle. By using both words and picture rather than words alone to enhance learning. And the last principle that I used in this slide was the voice principle, which is by using human voice like right now rather than a machine voice to narrate content, as it is more relatable and engaging to the learners. On to the last part was the test your knowledge. By testing your knowledge about the things we've just learned throughout the entire slide by asking the questions that are relatable to the topics such as what is orbit, what is asteroid, what is the closest planet to the sun, what is beyond the planets, to refresh our mind if we truly understand the topics that we've just learned. And if we don't know the answer, we can always go back to the slides to search back for the answers to these questions. So that's all from us. Thank you.